This is the story of the second generation Chevy Camaro. Today we'll go over the changes of the Camaro from 1970 to 1981.
New Camaro, super hugger. If it were just an ordinary Sportster, Chevy might have introduced it at the ordinary time, but it isn't, so we didn't.
I drive my Camaro from the mountains to the sea.
First is the 1970 Chevrolet Camaro. The second generation Camaros didn't reach dealers until February of 1970, making them 1970 and a half models. The new body style featured a fastback roofline and ventless full-door glass with no rear side quarter windows. Doors were wider to permit easier access to the rear seat, and new pull-up handles replaced the old handles, for which the lower button had to be pushed in to open the door. The rear was highlighted by 4 round taillights, similar to the Corvette. A convertible was not offered, making this the only Camaro generation not to offer one.
Last February, Chevrolet introduced a new Camaro, and it was a hit right from the start. For other car makers, that would have been good enough, but not for Chevrolet.
Next is the 1971 Chevrolet Camaro. The Z28 carried over to the second generation Camaro, but it was now powered by a 350 cubic inch 5.7 liter small block LT1 V8, rated at 360 horsepower. The LT1 may have sacrificed some of the high-revving charisma, but it was a much friendlier everyday driving companion. The Z28 features the new RS front end with its split bumpers and driving lights alongside the grille. Inside the 1971 Camaro, new high-back strato bucket seats replaced the 1970 only low-back seats with adjustable headrests.
Camaro, for those to whom driving means more than getting from one place to another.
Next is the 1972 Chevrolet Camaro. The 1972 Camaro didn't change much from the 1971 model, but suffered 2 major setbacks. The UAW strike at a GM assembly plant in Norwood disrupted production for 174 days, and 1,100 incomplete Camaros had to be scrapped because they couldn't meet federal bumper safety standards. Some at GM seriously considered dropping the Camaro and Firebird altogether. Chevrolet would go on to produce 68,656 Camaros in 1972.
Getting away. That's what the new 73 Camaro Type LT is all about. LT for luxury touring, for luxurious interior trim and appointments, and special instrumentation.
Next up is the 1973 Camaro. This model year incorporated a standard impact-absorbing front bumper system to meet the 5 mph no damage legislation. The new Type LT model was offered in 1973 with a quieter and better appointed interior, full instrumentation, rally-style wheels, variable radial steering, sport mirrors, and hidden windshield wipers, among other upgrades. Before we move on, we'd like to thank all of our subscribers for making our channel possible. If you like the video after watching, leave us a thumbs up and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell, as this will allow notifications of all newly released videos. We're also proud to announce that we now have a Facebook group page. Many of our viewers have left comments asking for a place to post pictures of their classic cars and just talk car stuff. So we've created the Boca Brothers Classic Car Facebook group.
2 models of the Camaro go to the marketplace for 1974, the economical Sport Coupe and our tester, the luxurious Type LT. The Z28 option is also available.
Next up is the 1974 Chevrolet Camaro. New federal bumper regulations meant the nose and tail of the Camaro had to be redesigned for 1974. Considering how massive those aluminum bumpers were, the car survived and people bought them. The Z28 got bold new graphics for 1974, but the car itself was becoming fat, lazy, and underpowered. The 350 V8 under the hood was rated at only 245 horsepower. Maybe the Z28 needed to be gone. And by 1975, it was. Next is the 1975 Chevrolet Camaro. With the discontinued Z28 for this year, the most exciting thing about the 1975 Camaro was the new wraparound rear window that slightly, very slightly, increased rear visibility. This was the first year for catalytic converters, and the output of Camaro engines skidded downward. The 6 could only squeeze out 105 horsepower, while the big 350 V8 was rated at a miserable 145 horsepower when equipped with a 2-barrel carburetor.
Climb into a 76 Camaro. Camaro is a driver's car. Low in profile and wide between the wheels.
Next is the 1976 Chevrolet Camaro. Only minor appearance changes highlighted the 1976 Camaro. Most notably, a brushed metal insert in the rear tail section on the LT model. The larger 350 cubic inch V8 was now only available with a 4-barrel carburetor and 165 horsepower. Power brakes became standard on V8 models this year. The Camaro's popularity was soaring. Sales totals jumped significantly for 1976, the best year yet for the second generation, and were to improve even more dramatically as the decade progressed.
The Z28 is back. Chevy Camaro Z28, with the kind of suspension you'd expect to find only under a legend. The Z28.
Next up, the 1977 Chevrolet Camaro. Midway through the 1977 model year, the Z28 returned, now emphasizing handling. It rode on big 15x7-inch wheels, and its 350 small block was rated at 185 horsepower. In 1977, 185 horsepower was huge. Despite this lack of excitement, Chevy sold almost 219,000 1977 Camaros. That was almost 3 times the sales of its younger, smaller sports coupe brother, the Monza.
Chevrolet Camaro, the driver's car, a car with a proud tradition. And this year, Camaro is new and redesigned to offer you more driving pleasure than ever before.
Next is the 1978 Chevrolet Camaro. The big change for 1978 was new soft plastic bumper covers. Also for the first time, a translucent T-top roof option was also added. Good-looking white-wall tires too. The 1978 Z28 also carried over the drivetrain from the 1977 Camaro.
Introducing a new way to take your pulse. Berlinetta, the sophisticated new Camaro from Chevrolet.
Next is the 1979 Camaro. The biggest changes for 1979 were the introduction of the luxury-oriented Berlinetta model, replacing the Type LT, and a restyled instrument panel with a much flatter appearance than the previous wraparound design, although the gauges themselves remained in the same places as before. The base models RS and Z28 remained. The Z28 now came with a front spoiler and fender flares, much like its Pontiac Trans Am twin had, and now came with Z28 decals that ran from the beginning of the front flares to the bottoms of the doors. Sales for 1979 were the highest ever for any Generation Camaro before or since, numbering 282,571 units.
The 1980 Camaro, with sleek aerodynamic lines. Available in 4 distinctly different personalities.
Next up, the 1980 Camaro. For 1980, the aged 250 cubic inch inline 6 was replaced with the 229 cubic inch V6 engine. The Z28 hood included a rear-pointing raised scoop air induction with a solenoid-operated flap, which opened at full throttle, allowing the engine to breathe cooler air. A federally mandated 85-mile-per-hour speedometer also debuted this year, down from 130. Z28s had new optional gray 5-spoke rims, later used on the 1986 through 1988 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS, a unique upper and lower front grille, and smaller revised graphics on its doors. The side scoops were also changed from the louver design to a flatter one, with a single opening. The 350 cubic inch 5.7-liter V8 was now only available on the Z28s this year.
The Camaro Z28 for 81, the ultimate Camaro, shown here with the optional T-roof, where performance and sportiness generate new excitement.
Last on the list is the 1981 Chevrolet Camaro. The 1981 model was nearly unchanged from 1980 and would be the last model year for the second generation Camaro. That 11-year model run is the longest for a Camaro generation. Well, there you have it. The story of the second generation Chevy Camaro. Which was your favorite year? We'd like to know. Leave us a comment below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell for future video notifications. Hey, don't forget to join our Facebook group so that we can interact more. Join us at Boca Brothers Classic Car Facebook group. Again, thanks for watching.